Good morning and welcome to Gagz and McDevittt, New York Sports Guys, here with your uncensored live Sunday sports talk show. My name is Gagz. I'm part of your co-hosting duo today. Today we're actually joined by a special co-host. His name is McDevitt. He's going to be joining me for the next 60 minutes as we break down all the hot topics in sports. We're going to be talking about the Yankees, unfortunately, and what they're going through. We'll be getting into a little bit of college football. We'll be touching on Giants and 49ers. Whole lot to get into. McDevitt, how are you doing this morning, my friend?
Very good today, Mike. Yeah.
I'm doing all right. It would be better if this Mexican that's next to my studio was not blasting his music like it was the Puerto Rican Day Parade, but hey, what can I do? This is uncensored, so I can say shit like that, be free, open, say whatever you feel, get it off your chest. I know you have a lot to say, especially with what we're going to get into first, and how do we avoid not getting into this first, and that's the New York Yankees, who last night go down 0-1 to the Detroit Tigers in a game in which they looked like they were dead to rights. They come back, big ninth-inning rally by Raul Ibanez, does it again. Is this guy unfucking believable or what?
Unbelievable. The weird thing about the Yankees is usually games like that, they always find a way to win, and last night, hey, it didn't happen for them. It was very surprising that they made all that comeback, didn't end up panning out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. When they did score the 4 runs in the ninth, I thought for sure this is our game. I thought it deflated any air that was in the Detroit Tigers, especially with their closer, who's been lights out for them over the past 2 seasons, comes in and blows a 4-run lead, giving up 2 home runs, one to the unexpected Ichiro. We all know he can hit for power, but he never does. And then Raul Ibanez, oh my God, I don't even know what to say about this guy besides unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been indescribable this postseason. This guy is clutch hit after clutch hit after clutch hit, and you know, I have to be honest with you, the only button that Girardi seems to push right is when he puts Ibanez on it. That's the only button that he's pushed right, I feel, the entire postseason. And Ibanez, he's absolutely unbelievable. 41 years old, might as well be, he plays like a 25-year-old kid who's excited to be there, you know. He's a phenomenal player. It's a phenomenal pickup in the postseason, in the preseason for Cashman. Great job. He was the last guy to make the roster, and he's the guy that made the most impact on the roster, aside from the captain, who
Absolutely.
We'll break down later on.
Yes, and like you said, Ibanez was about 2 games away from being cut, and I think he hit 2 home runs in the last 2 preseason games. And they said, you know what, let's put him on the roster. He could be a left-handed DH for us. And
he's a professional hitter, and that's why they kept him on the roster, and look, it panned out for him.
And that's the best $800,000 they've spent this year. When you look at the other...
Well, I guess when you ship away $75 million, I guess the 1,000 really isn't that much, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you shit away $32 million with Alex Rodriguez, who, I mean, listen, Yankee fans in general have been trying to get behind this guy. As bad as he's been the last couple of days when he's come up to the plate, they've been cheering him, they've been pulling for this guy, and he continues to let us down. And it's to a point now, and I think I said this to you last night, that it gets to a point where you can pull for somebody so much when they're struggling, but when they continue to disappoint you, it becomes hard to even pull for the guy. I mean, we've seen this in the past. He's only had 1 postseason where he's productive. That was 2009, where he pretty much did carry us to a World Series.
He almost won them a World Series, so credit where credit's due. He could almost win them that World Series. He got them to the World Series. Almost on his back.
Yeah, listen, if he doesn't have the performances he has against Joe Nathan and the hits that he had against the Angels, we're probably not saying that they were champions in 2009.
Agreed.
All that said, when it comes to 2009, he built up enough equity where in 2010 and 2011, when he didn't perform again, the fans didn't really kill A-Rod. But now, that equity is gone. It's out of the bank. And we expected him, especially the way that the Yankees played. They were 22-21 without him in the lineup during his injury. So a 500 club. So when he came back, we had all the expectations that, all right, we have the main part of our lineup back intact. Cano even said that he felt a lot more pressure without A-Rod in that lineup.
Not seeing a lot less pitches.
Absolutely.
For whatever reason, I would throw to A-Rod, throw him fastballs down the middle. The guy can't hit.
Yeah, you throw him a fastball 3 inches off the plate, it's a swinging strike almost every single time. Last night, first at bat, I had a little bit of positivity. He ripped the ball. There was a great play made by the shortstop.
Yeah, that was a great play by the shortstop.
He got robbed, but I said, you know what? That was the most. That was the most juice that he put into a ball since he's come back. I mean, now he's 80 at-bats without a home run. He has 2 extra base hits in his last 80 at-bats. Like, this is a guy who is getting paid $32 million to be a slugger, and he's been nothing but an automatic out. And it's to the point where if I don't see him the rest of the postseason, I will not be disappointed.
You're not going to be sad. I feel like the biggest problem with A-Rod, well, other than him being awful and hitting, or if whenever he makes it to the shortstop or the second baseman, the problem with A-Rod is, and I completely agree with you, the fans want to get behind this guy. They want him to perform. Like, we're New York Yankee fans are giving every single possible guy. And he could not come up in bigger spots. And he continuously disappoints. Big spot, big spot, big spot. Always a strikeout. Always a bad play. Always right to the shortstop. Double play. This guy is... And I'm an A-Rod guy. I have no problem with A-Rod. Like I said, he won 2000. I feel without him, they do not win that World Series. But he is continuous disappointment. He is just a shell of his former self as a player. He is not the same guy. He's not even close to the level of superstar that he used to be. He is a role player. He gradually got devalued into a role player. And you want to say he came off an injury and make that excuse, which I know a lot of A-Rod supporters do, but look at Teixeira. Teixeira came back off an injury, and he is producing, at least in the playoffs. He is showing you why they pay him that money. And A-Rod's just not there.
Another thing for Teixeira, going back to Teixeira real quick, this is a guy who has to hit into his shift, and he's got like 3 base hits over the last 3 days.